So my name is Melissa Rickey. I'm with I'm a graduate admission counselor at Ursuline College. And I have with me today Leah Blankenship. She is a current counseling and art therapy student. Leah, thank you for joining us today. Leah's going to share a little bit about the counseling and art therapy program, as well as a little bit about student athletics, as Leah's an athlete in our Ursuline College sports program. So first off, Leah, tell me how you learned about Ursuline's counseling and art therapy program, because I know originally when we were communicating back and forth, when you were starting to look at Ursuline, you were from Urbana. So I know from my experience, Urbana's pretty remote. So how did you hear about Ursuline College, and what made you pick Ursuline for your master's program?
Well, I started with my undergrad in pre-art therapy at Indiana Wesleyan in Marion, Indiana. But I had like an art therapist professor there who gave like a bunch of connections to different colleges to look at. And then I also like went onto the American Art Therapy American Art Therapy Association webpage, and they have like the different accredited colleges, and I know that Ohio has like a more strict licensure program, so I wanted to be able to go to Ursuline to get the art therapy and counseling part, so that way it's universal in most states, so that I can like transfer those to other places too.
Absolutely. And you're right, Leah. We are one of the only programs in Ohio that's a dual-based program. We offer both counseling and art therapy. We have two different track programs. I believe you're doing the counseling and art therapy program, but we also have an art therapy track for professionals that are already licensed that want to come back to college and earn the art therapy piece.
Right.
So those of you viewing this video are probably not aware, although I did mention it at the beginning of the video if you were paying attention, but Leah is a student athlete. So Leah, tell me why you decided to continue your athletic career at Ursuline as a graduate student.
Yeah, so basically kind of how the story went down is in my undergrad, I ran cross country and track. I did all 4 years of cross country, so I used up that eligibility. But with how things ended up with COVID, the outdoor season this spring was canceled. So I was looking, I kind of thought my running career was over, but I like kind of didn't want it to be. So I just thought I'd like give it a shot to see if like my eligibility would transfer from the NAIA to NA, the division into Ursuline. So and then I like contacted the coach, and he was really quick to responding. I think he got back with me that day. And one thing that I noticed about the program at Ursuline is that a lot of the people that I like, if I needed resources or questions, that people got back to me immediately. So it was just nice to like have those connections. And I mean, some of the other programs that I like looked at, it seemed like it was a lot of effort to just reach out to people and like get response back. So definitely looking at Ursuline College, it was really easy to like make connections with people, which is something that I want out of like my college career, is to make connections and like not just show up and not really have those relationships with people.
Absolutely, and you made a very good point. A lot of what we try to offer students at Ursuline College is that personability. We are a smaller private college, and we try to connect students with resources as well as with programs to assist them or to help them in any way. As you mentioned, just connecting you. I think you and I spoke a couple of times, and I also connected with your coach as well to make sure that that transition was smooth for you, because we don't have a whole lot of student athletes at the graduate level, but when we do, we try to connect. One of my roles is to connect students directly with the coach so that they can see what eligibility guidelines are available, and as you mentioned, to see if they still are able to to continue their athletic career, through graduate school. So that's an awesome opportunity that you're going to be able to do that. And I think you're going to represent the Ursuline Arrows very well during the season.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then if you wanted to mention too what sport you're going to be playing, I don't think you mentioned that.
Oh yeah. So I will be doing the outdoor track season only. I plan to be as involved with the cross country team as I can, and just like building relationships as soon as I get on the campus with the women's team. Yeah.
And we have a lot of great women's sports programs. So again, I'm glad that you are going to be representing Ursuline as a student athlete. So I know you recently started the counseling and art therapy program, Leah. Have you had any thought to what you want to do once you complete the program?
Yes. So I'm going into art therapy and counseling, as we mentioned before. And eventually I want to become an art therapist. I'm not sure which population of people that I want to work with yet. I'm leaning towards like active duty military members because I'm in the Air Force Reserves. So I have some connections and an understanding of the culture. So I might go in that direction, but I also am interested in working with children. Yeah, I don't know yet.
And that's all right. A lot of our students, when they start into the program, they know this is what they want to do. They want to become a counselor and an art therapist for the main point of just helping people. And as you get more into the program, we have a really great group of faculty. Most of them are full-time, but we do have adjunct faculty as well, that help students explore different career options, look at different populations you can work with, and help stretch and grow you as a unique professional in this field. So I know that you're in good hands and that they definitely will allow you to help develop those skills that you need to be a good professional, and also what area you might want to work in, and you might surprise yourself. So
Right.
I'm excited for you and what lies ahead with your career in counseling and art therapy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So last question, what advice would you give a potential student, especially a student athlete? You also mentioned, you were previously in the military. What would you offer students coming from your unique perspective to Ursuline College? And even beginning the counseling and art therapy program, maybe something that you did that was the right move for you, or maybe something that you would do different to help potential students so that they can be more prepared for this program.
To be more prepared for the master's program.
For the counseling and art therapy program, and then to what you did, you mentioned it a little bit about being a student athlete, how you, how did you connect with the coach? Or, if you were able to use, you mentioned that you had a military background. If you were able to use veterans benefits. I mean, it's a very wide open question, but if you don't mind answering those perspectives for students that may be coming from these different areas that might have questions of how to do what you're doing now.
Right. Well, to prepare for the program, especially like getting your undergrad, taking courses that you'll need to like get into the program in the master's program would be helpful to just have those credits in the background to even apply. And then as far as being like a student athlete, I would say learning how to have a balance is key. I think that when you go into college, you don't realize, or at least for me, when I like came in as a freshman for my undergrad, I didn't realize how much demand there is to like, or how many things can pull your attention away from like your focus in your studies or athletics. But I would say like figure out what your priorities are and like the things that you value. So if you want to excel in your athletic career, it's really important to understand how much time needs to be devoted to that in order to excel. And I think my freshman year in college, I like didn't understand that, and I was like, oh, look at all these friends and people I can meet, which like it's good to build relationships. And I'm glad that I like did what I did my freshman year. But as I progressed through the years, I realized like how much my attention was being pulled in different directions, and then adding military into that, there's a lot of things that like need to get done in order to like keep excelling in my military career, and like reaching my fullest potential for that time with my athletic career, and then also keeping up with academics. It's a lot on the plate.
Absolutely.
So balance, I would say, is key, and like sleep is like super important.
When
Sleep
you
and
can
like
get sleep,
healthy,
sure.
yeah. So just being mindful and like keeping your priorities aligned, I would say is like super key. Yeah.
I think that's great advice for students, especially like you said, when you're juggling multiple priorities. It's you know, working on time management and staying balanced and staying healthy too, taking care of yourself. You mentioned sleep,
Right.
and I'm sure probably a balanced diet and all of that factors in as well. So Leah, thank you so much again for taking the time to share your experience with Ursuline College, the Counseling and Art Therapy program, and athletics. Thank you for your service when you were in the military. And I wish you the best of luck in the Counseling and Art Therapy program. Stay in touch with us, and I hope you do well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.